Well, welcome back. We'll say welcome back to Extra Point. We haven't been around. We took the summer off, but we're back on Southwestern Montana News. And our program is brought to you by Susan McRae Accounting and Town & Country Foods. And today we have Ryan Sullivan, new women's basketball coach at Montana Western. Ryan, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Wally. Excited to do this and be talking to you today. It's going to be great.
Yeah, well, we put you on the hot seat a little bit.
Yeah, let's
so
go.
You're a brand new guest.
Yeah.
So we need your scouting report, okay?
I don't have that for you yet. We'll figure that out.
No, hometown.
All right, yeah. No, so we got some stuff to figure out still, man.
Oh, no, hometown.
From City, Montana.
Yeah.
Montana, yeah. You ever been to City, Montana, Wally?
I have. I've driven through it a couple times. It's a long ways away.
You don't accidentally go to Sydney. It's a place you don't just kind of find yourself in Sydney.
There's some Western grads over there, isn't there, in the school system?
I think Brad Folliver is over there. Do you remember Brad Folliver?
Brad,
yeah.
He was student body president for a while.
Yeah, I think we have a couple more. But I know Brad kind of, when I was in high school, he nudged me this way a little bit. He knew Keller or knew somebody over here, and he was kind of our connection to Montana Western from.
Okay, well,
that side of the state.
you answered one of my questions about what drew you to Montana Western and Dillon.
Yeah.
Anything academically, did the block kind of interest you? Because you came in, block had been around for 7 or 8 years when you came here.
Yeah, I knew I wanted to teach and coach, and it was very evident when I came out here the first time that was kind of what the school is known for. And it's really cool, actually. You see, I can't remember who did the article this last year, but they just kind of mapped out all the Montana coaches in the state and divisional tournaments and throughout, in basketball season, and you see all the names that are Western alum, and it's actually a pretty cool little story that I got to read this winter. But no, that was probably the most attractive thing for what I wanted to do after high school after college was teach and coach, and Montana Western was a place to do that.
Well, those networking you mentioned Coach Keller, and you look around and you see Kevin Inglet, and Mark Durham, and then you go out further and you see all these people that have. Well, you saw a lot of them at the golf tournament.
Yeah.
This last weekend, that Western Bulldog Network is a pretty. It's linked with very, very strong chains.
Yeah, it's extensive, and obviously there's something going on here because they've all been really successful, even at the the prep level, and then obviously like BJ is doing well now, and
Jeff Choate,
and I think Mick Delaney graduated from here as well. So yeah, it's impressive, and just gotta, if we can be a quarter of the coach that those guys are, we will be in good shape for sure.
Well, we have a national championship guy. Colby Blaine, he's won a couple of national championships at College of Idaho, and he got his start. Were you here when he was here, or had he already gone?
He had left. I think when did Keller leave? That must have been 2019-ish.
Yeah, right around in there.
Yeah, so I think that was kind of my understanding he was kind of in the mix for the job here during that time, and then C of I snagged him. But yeah, no, he's done incredible there. They're unbelievable.
Well, and we're no strangers. We have that national championship trophy.
Yeah, we do.
On the wall too, and to a women's basketball coach, that's kind of a heavy burden. But we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But okay, so you came to Western.
Yeah.
You told us why. What degree? You said you wanted to teach, so some kind of education degree.
Yeah, I got an interdisciplinary social science degree. So. I wanted to just be a history teacher, but my advisor at the time, Aaron Weinacht was his name, told me you need to go into the broad field, so you're just a little bit more hireable, so you can teach government or any of the history content areas you're able to teach if you get that degree. So that's the route we went.
And when you were here, you were both basketball and football. So you go back to high school. I'm guessing you were football and basketball at Sydney High School. Was there a third sport thrown in there?
I ran track. And I was okay at track. That was kind of I did it in the spring because you got to hang out with buddies, and I mean it kept you in shape, and there's a lot of positives from doing track, but was very, very average at it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we won't pressure you into any school records or anything like that.
No, I don't got any for you. So.
So after graduation from Western, where did you land first in your professional career?
Yeah. I was student teaching for Mark Morenny at the junior high here in town, and this is the first time this is being told, actually. So it's my first job interview. I'm on the phone with the superintendent from Cut Bank High School, and I had a connection with Cut Bank. My dad coached against, do you remember Don Paulson? He was at Poplar for many
Yes,
years, and my
yes.
dad coached against him at Circle, I believe. And Don had reached out to my dad about any interest I had in going into Cut Bank, and I remember being in Mr. Moreni's history classroom at the junior high, and I'm on the phone with the superintendent from Cut Bank doing my interview, and they'd ask me a question, and Moreni would write some things I should say on his whiteboard and show it to me, and so I would do okay in that interview, and I got offered the job, and I was excited about the job offer, so we went to Cut Bank out of college, and had a great. I loved my time at Cut Bank. It was a great year.
How long were you there?
Just 1 year. Yeah, just 1 year. I my time in Dillon, I worked for Matt Donor in the summers, and he had a brother that was a principal in Casper, Wyoming, and I had part of my job that year was when Matt's brother came to town, I was teaching his kids how to work. So they'd drop his kids off with me at our job site, and I was babysitting, and I was painting and doing all the stuff for Donor at that time too. I should have gotten paid more than I did, now that I say that. But now Brian, Matt's brother, when he had a job opening in Casper for a secondary level, that year after Cut Bank, he called me and said, "Hey, we have a pretty good opportunity here if you're interested in doing, coming down." And looked around, and there's coaching opportunities there, and so I just jumped at it and went to Casper.
For which high school in Casper?
Natrona County High School, yeah, NC in Casper, and that was it's obviously different than Montana, but it was a great learning opportunity. Got to coach on that staff in a pretty big, like 2,200 kids in that school, and learned a lot, and kind of got my feet under me with some things that you get out of college and you just don't know what you don't know at that point, and so got to learn a lot my first 2 years out of college for sure.
Okay, and then from Casper you moved on, but you didn't move very far.
Yeah, went north about 2 hours to Sheridan. Sheridan's an awesome community. It reminds me the academics and the athletics there really remind me of Montana. It's the closest thing to athletics, high school athletics that in Wyoming that compare to Montana with how the community loves athletics there, and the support and the success that they have at that school. So it was a great opportunity. I'd never coached girls before, so that was my first girls coaching job that I took, but wouldn't have done it any other way. It was great.
Well, you had a pretty good track record there. Didn't you add some hardware to the Sheridan Trophy case?
We did. It was hard at first. The program had won 5 games. I think it was 5 games in 2 years prior to getting there, and the people that I trust and know told me, this is not a job you want to take right now, and I'm thankful I didn't listen to them, because we got to coach a great group of people, and the community was awesome to me, and 5 years in, we had that thing humming. It was great, but it wasn't obviously just a me thing. We had kids that were willing to do the things, and our staff was incredible, and the community bought into what we wanted to do. So it's how it is in high school athletics and in any athletics at this level. In college, you got to have community support and people that want to take the risk with you, and we had that.
Okay, well, not only did you win a state championship there, but didn't you add something else to your life in Sheridan too?
Yeah, met my fiance, well, my wife now. We just got married this summer, so it was a year, and I spent a year in Sheridan single, and I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know if I'll ever meet anybody, just kind of. But then Danny came to town, and she, the volleyball coach at the time, Danny was a freshman coach at the high school there that year. She got hired to do that, and the kids that I coached in basketball, some of them play volleyball, and so they were just being rats about it and they were making a scene anytime I'd walk through the gym and during their practice or whatever. They're hooting and hollering, and so it was kind of obnoxious, I won't lie to you, but it worked out. So it's a good thing for sure.
Okay, but you're going to have an interesting first year of matrimony.
Yeah.
You're here and she's there.
Yep, for a year. We're going to.
Thank goodness for Zoom, huh?
Well, she when the job was offered to me, that was the one thing that really was the hang up for us. Was I didn't know logistically if we could make it happen. I didn't want to spend a year away from her. I don't want to spend a year away from her, but she told me, and these words are a little bit nicer than hers. It's just go, don't be an idiot. You need to go do this. And so her supporting me in that is, it's huge. It's absolutely huge.
Okay. Well, getting back to high school really quick before we take a break, you said you one of the reasons you wanted to come to Western was it offered you opportunities to get an education and to be a coach.
Yeah.
So you said you enjoyed teaching. Is that going to be something you're going to miss a little bit now? Because you're not. I guess you'll still be in the classroom, but your classroom will be on a basketball court.
Yeah.
Because all good coaches are better teachers before they become a coach. But are you going to miss that classroom atmosphere any?
I am. It's two full-time jobs. When you're teaching coach in high school, you're doing two full-time jobs. If you want to be good at either one of them, you got to put a lot of time in. And so that's something I won't necessarily miss, is just the grind of both. Because I coached football in the fall, and that program's incredible, and that staff was really incredible. We'd spend from noon till about 6 p.m. on Sundays every single day. Every Sunday we'd spend a good chunk of change in there, and it's just any program that wants to be competitive, you got to put a lot of time in, and so balancing your teaching job and your coaching job and making sure you're also balancing that with your personal life it's hard, and so I'm not going to miss that part of it, but obviously the things that you get to do in the classroom will be hard to step away from. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a break and we'll come back and talk more with Ryan Sullivan on Extra Point on Southwestern Montana News.
Looking for made in Montana food products? Look no further than Town and Country Foods of Dillon.
Back to Extra Point, and we are back with Coach Ryan Sullivan, new head women's basketball coach at the college. And Ryan, once again, welcome back to Dillon. Doesn't seem like you've been gone that long, but it's about 10 years or so.
Somewhere in there, yeah, 2018. Left.
Almost?
Yeah,
Almost.
We're coming up on that for sure, yeah.
Well, and then you're returning to Dillon, but you're also bringing with you someone, I don't know if we want to call him a Dillon living legend, but you're bringing back someone who is from Dillon and will be acting as your assistant.
Yeah, Wes Knox. He came down to Sheridan with me a couple years ago, and obviously met Wes in high school. We played AAU together in basketball, and then we competed against each other in track. We were never good enough to play them in football, and I don't know if we wanted to, so they were always really, really competitive and good in football. But he's been down in Sheridan for the last couple of years with me and has been huge for that program and for me as a coach specifically to grow and be better. Balances me out really well. It gets me, knows how to talk to me and what to say and win and all those things, which is all you can ask for from an assistant for sure.
Well, you're going to be building, and I think I did my homework. You're building a class, 2 seniors, 1 junior, 1 sophomore, and 4 freshman redshirts, with the addition of players that you have brought in. Because I know from the minute you signed, I don't even think the ink was dry in your contract, and you were recruiting.
Yeah, we were. When we kind of figured this was going to be the plan, just started calling all the people that I know and trust in the region, and was fortunate enough to have a couple people push some kids my way, and Wes has helped out with that too. So we're trying to build something here, and we're not going to take the shortcuts on it. Obviously, we can't just bring anybody here, but I'm really happy with the kids we brought in for our 25 class, and we have a good blend of high school, kids that graduated high school this year, as well as some kids with some eligibility that won't just be here for 2 years, and we wanted to get some size and some height, and I think we were able to steal one from Billings West this year, where that Kenzie Dorn, that she just was. I don't know if you guys got to watch Billings West or not this year, but they were loaded, and she's a really big athletic kid that. I'm really happy that we were able to snag her because that was kind of our emphasis this year. But we also got really good pieces from the guard spot and some forwards, and it doesn't mean it's going to be great right away. Obviously, there's chemistry that needs to be built with any team, but I think we got the right people to try and build this thing.
Well, that's the tough thing when you're moving from the high school ranks to the college ranks is you don't have to recruit in high school.
Yeah.
And this is a whole new facet to the game. But as talking to Kevin Inglet, who did the same thing, he made the move from BCHS to Western. He said, I can't quote him exactly, but he was very simply said, it's like anything else, you just learn how to do it.
Yeah, and we don't recruit in high school, obviously, but you, as a coach in high school, the kids are just being pulled 1,000 different ways. High school athletes are, and they got to juggle a lot of different things. So you have to make your program as attractive as you can in high school too. And I think that's one aspect of recruiting that I think has kind of translated well from Sheridan to here. Is just we want to make this a place that people want to be engaged in and choose to be a part of, and that's just making your program really attractive to those individuals.
Well, and do you have a basic blueprint of how you're going to do things offensively, how you're going to do things defensively, or is that going to be one of those works in progress as you see how that team chemistry blends together?
Yeah, you think you have it all figured out until you know that you don't. But our emphasis this recruiting class and the kids that we have, I believe we'll be able to guard. I think we're going to be able to keep people in front of us, and we should be able to guard the perimeter really well. A little concerned with the rebounding is going to be a little tougher for us just because we don't have the height that I'd like us to have yet. But defensively, I think we'll be able to do a lot of things that I want to do. Offensively, we're going to have to figure some stuff out because I stole all my stuff that I run from Keller, and he was a dribble drive guy, and you take that 4-out 1-in offense, and you can just kind of make it your own. But personnel-wise, we've got to get creative with the crew that we have because we won't have a true 5 this year. And it doesn't mean that we can't run it, but there are some things that we're going to have to tweak and get creative with to make sure we're not just wasting some. I don't want Ava Belich to play inside. I want her to stretch for us, and she's probably the tallest kid we have. So how do we get creative enough to get her helping us on the inside and the interior ball, so not just camping her out there. So we'll have to get creative on that side of the basketball, but defensively I think we'll be fine in the things that we want to do.
Okay, and then we'll wrap things up. You picked a good year to become a coach in the Frontier Conference. The conference just expanded.
Yeah.
Lots of fun road trips to North Dakota and Nebraska and stuff like that. And it goes from a 15-game conference. I guess the bright spot about it is talking to some of the coaches is they're happy they're going away from that playing 3 teams.
Sure.
You go home and away, but your schedule is a lot larger than it has been in a very, very long time.
Yeah, there's not a better place to be in the winter than North Dakota, that's for sure. That's where you want to go. No, I don't know. No matter what, if the league was the same as it was last year, you're in a bugger of a league regardless. The travel's not the same, but you're playing. I mean, again, the Frontier had four teams go to the national tournament last year. It's really, really competitive, and I know there's some good teams that are coming in from the North Dakota and Nebraska leagues, and it's just a different challenge, but it's still going to be challenging. Obviously, if we were just playing those Montana Frontier schools, that's also a very big challenge. So either way, we're up for it every single time we go play, which is good.
Okay. Well, Ryan, I want to thank you for stopping in and visiting with us. I told you the hot seat wasn't going to be very hot.
We're not there yet. No.
Yeah. Well, we'll come back. We'll get you once the season starts. We'll let you get, some practices, some games in. Then we'll bring you back and we'll talk more Bulldog basketball.
Yeah, let's do it after a win. No, but I appreciate you having me on. And for those of you that don't know, Wally does a ton for our student athletes at Western, and I appreciate you a lot, Wally. So thank you.
Okay. Well, I thank you, Ryan. Thank you very much. Ryan Sullivan, head women's basketball coach at Montana Western. An Extra Point brought to you today by Susan McRae Accounting and Town & Country Foods. And we'll see you next time on Extra Point, right here on Southwestern Montana News.